Hello guys, it's Peter from PS Sound, and in this short walk around explain video we are going to show you the second chapter, right? Because we only had the first chapter of this car. Some of you might have seen this 997 Porsche. When was it? 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Second chapter with you. I've had plenty of chapters with it before.
That's true. That's true. But
experimenting and finding out.
so how long have you had this car for?
Oh, must be 6 years or so.
But before us, it was only you playing around with things.
Just me.
Yeah,
Watching
plus
YouTube
the
and-
30 years of experience.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hiatus for 20 years. And came back to
Well,
it.
at least you came from the era when the golden era, shall we say. But of course, many things improved since, and things moved on. And yes, we had the previous chapter when this car had the P6 Mark II, Helix P6 Mark II running the front end. We had the Focal VRC with the additional 3.5 WM mid-range. And many people, I think, remember your car from this sub setup. Yes, we took the speaker cloth panel now off so people can see the subs. And many people still comment on the old videos and post that, Pete, this is just such a therapeutic thing to see these subs moving. That many people just watch those demo videos back just to see the subs moving.
It's neat. That's what I like about it.
And yeah, squeezing 4 subs in there was definitely something. And yeah, I told you, these W3s are not bad at all. So this time though, many things changed. We started somewhere and then we finished somewhere else, shall we say. The original plan was to upgrade the P6 Mark II to the P6 Ultimate, hoping that that brings a bit of improvement on the amplification side. Plus that's also a 12-channel DSP, so we could have run the P2 for mid-bass, could have run P1 for sub, and we would have had channels left for differential rear fill. That was the original plan. Then we realized that the P2 just became, discontinued. It happens with Autotech Fisher at times. They don't say that it's not available anymore until you want to order, and then they say. Because the upgraded version of that is going to come at some point. When? Nobody knows. So we were left in a...
That's what happened last time actually. I wanted the P1 and we settled with the M1X.
Because
We were
even...
very happy.
Yeah, but at that time the P1... It wasn't...
It was going between the P1 and the P1 Mark II.
Oh, the Mark II was coming as well. Yeah, that's true. So we went with the M1X at that time, and we had no problem with that monoblock. It's one of my favorite budget monoblocks. It works great. It doesn't do anything wrong, honestly.
Yeah.
And then
It's nice, it's compact.
people thinking that, oh, I need a more expensive sub amp. No, what you need for good bass is good location for the subs with a good application and plenty of power, especially voltage. Because most people don't realize that stable voltage is king. So that's what we had before. We wanted to go for the P6. As I said, P2, P1 would have been a nice layout, simple, clean. The car doesn't have much space for amplification, and we couldn't do that. So that's when we went back and forth in a short time. And I said, what if we use the RCA outputs from the P6 for a better quality AB amp? That's when your brain started to work.
Yeah. I looked in the garage and found all sorts of things.
How many amps do you have at home?
Of these Class A's, I think I've got about 6 different versions.
But not all together, like a rough number.
Oh, I don't keep so much compared to a friend of mine, so I don't keep that
Oh,
many.
15, 20 amps?
No.
Over 10.
Just maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. You have the good old collectibles. So that's when I said, what if we use a Class AB for mid and tweet, and then we sort out the rest of the amplification from the P6 and the P1. And that's when an idea came up that you would use something from your collection. I show that first before I show what we did in the inside, because we did a lot inside as well. Let's go to the front. So that's where we had to give up a bit of space. You can see now an extra trim panel showing something, and that's where we ended up with some good old rare amps. So you have to help me with this because I'm not 100% sure their exact model.
So they are Soundstream towards the end of their old school stuff before they started. I think they were sold to a Korean company, Chinese
Yeah.
something. These were their Class A ones. Picasso just intended for front end, and then the Class A 10, I think it is. I came with a smaller one, but Peter said use the bigger one, so we did.
Yeah.
And that's running mid-bass. Again, it's one of these old school cheetah amps.
This 2-channel cheater amp was featured on Williston's
Yeah.
YouTube channel, and he was pulling way over a kilowatt of this small 2-channel amp, because it's only like 40-ish watt, I think, if I remember correctly, on 4 ohm on each channel. It's not mega power by the sound of it. The good thing is that these amps, yes, maybe on 4 ohm they don't have much power. However, it's not like a tiny little digital amplifier trying to squeeze a lot of power out of it. This has a lot of power supply behind it, and it's stable down to 0.25 ohm. So it can be bridged to half an ohm, and that's when you can pull way over a kilowatt from these. That's why these amplifiers were cheaters, but they were also drawing some insane. From his test,
Yeah.
I saw some insane current draw.
180, or was it?
Oh, even
200
more,
amps?
something silly. So the efficiency is really, really poor at that point. But they were doing some crazy stuff. And even if they just do 40 amp on 4 ohm, it's like you have a V12 engine with torque. So it's definitely clean, and it's not, you know, like playing into 2-3% of distortion. Even at that rate, it's 0.0 something. Yes, we wanted the P2 for mid-bass. Now we ended up 40 watt per channel. And will it be enough, right? That's a good question. That Picasso running mid and tweeter equally. 20 watt, 28.
It's 4 by 25 watts.
Yeah, it's not mega by the looks of it. And we will see. I always tell to people, you know, 10-20 watt for mid and tweet can be very, very loud. So yeah, it didn't go smoothly at first, because the first 4-channel amp that we had in the car, caused surprises for us, and we had problems with that amplifier that held us back. Then you had another one, and this works now, and hopefully it's going to work fine on the road as well in vibration.
Yeah, I was going to say, it has its problems.
It has its problems, switches and things like that. Yeah, sometimes you lose like 6 dB from a mid-range and things like that. Some weird noises appear on passenger side tweeter at times that I can't control, but that's all because of the switches. That's why it's nice not to have a single switch, a single thing on an amplifier. It's less, you know, room for failure, to go wrong, and less bits in the chain of the signal. So that's what runs mid-bass, mid and tweet. Behind it, I will have to drop in a picture. We have the P1 and a small Zapco 2-channel, the SD2X SQ, running the rear field. And up here on the top, we have the Ultra S now. That's where we used to have the P6, if some of you remember the previous video. So yeah, we lost now a bit of space from the front, not terrible. You still have a bit of room.
Yeah,
And
it's usable.
people worry that these amplifiers get really hot. The funny thing is that I clamped it. All 4 amps draw 7.5 amp on standby, as opposed to what I was expecting, like 15-20. Because Class A would indicate that they would pull a lot. These may not be biased so much towards Class A as, but it doesn't matter because it sounds amazing.
I haven't heard it yet.
Not yet. I'm really pulling you. You've been here for hours. We wanted to finish the car, clean it, take footage and everything. But yeah, now we have these babies in here. There's still little bits to do because inside a lot changed. Let's just show that. Because yeah, we had a nice setup before, but let's turn it down. Yes, first thing that, you know, people can see in this car now that, yep, something happened with the pillars. So before we had the focal here in the sail panel, and many people were asking actually where we put the mirror switches, because originally they are there, and you just got rid of them.
Yeah, set it on one position and left it.
And left it. You just dropped the window and then you poked it with your finger, I guess. So that was one reason to move away from the sails, although the sail panel integrated well with the mid-range and the mid-bass, because technically they were, you know, vertically aligned pretty well. Now we moved away from it, and yes, the mid-range is wider, the tweeter is a bit narrower in terms of technicality and staging, but they integrate well. But we changed not just the tweeter to the Mundorf AMTU 80s, which I have to say in this video now, it's time to do a bit of publicity to these tweeters. Probably by the time this video is gonna be published, by then we will have our own drivers. Many people know, have been following us, and many cars have been built with these Mundorfs lately, and nobody knew where these tweeters were from. Well, our journey started in 2020 with Mundorf. We started to use them. I was in that beautiful position that we were contacted by Mundorf, and they were like, Pete, we have a new driver that potentially you would like. And yes, it took time till Peter stepped forward, and I said, you know what, let's take it seriously. These tweeters are amazing, and I want our own version, because they were not making these for the mass production. They have the home audio drivers, but they are different. And I requested these drivers with a small faceplate. Usually they come with a big square or a big circular faceplate, and by then it's huge. You can't use it in a car, so we started to design mounting frames for them. You can mount them vertically, horizontally, depending on what dispersion character you want for the tweeters and what design and look you want for them. But we are in the position with these tweeters that currently I just don't know what I could offer to anybody that sounds better. I'm not trying to blow this up, but probably by the time you're watching this video, we have 20 pairs out globally, here and there, and nobody could say anything bad about them. And they even put these tweeters against some very expensive stuff side by side, and they were like, Pete, you were right, and these don't cost arm and leg. So yeah, if you're interested, drop us a message, and hopefully soon it's going to be all published on our website as well, and we will have global sales for these tweeters, because they are truly something special. But that's about the tweeters. Then we changed the focal to the STEG MSS3. Here I have to drop in a picture. You can see how we design new 3D printed mounting for them. And then we also fitted the stereo integrity TM8s, because you had 8-inch drivers before in the doors, and that was an option for us to put them back. Although I've noticed that they haven't been stored the best way, and there's a bit of sag on the spider. They still play fine, but and I used TM8s now in few cars, tuned few in America as well, and they are amazing drivers. Many people don't take them seriously because they are not expensive, but they're not expensive because they are direct sale. It doesn't go through, you know, 3 pairs of hands, otherwise they would cost 3 times more. Same thing is happening with the tweeters. These could cost, you know, $2,000 by the time, you know, it goes through distributors, dealers, and everybody. They are okay. The 80s are going to be a bit more expensive than the 60s, but these will be roughly around maximum $1,000 after import and everything in America. And the 60s that we will have stock of, they should be even cheaper. So we changed the freeway and changed the DSP, the amps, and also changed the source. And that was coming from you.
Just thought there's,
because I was still,
signal all the way.
yeah, I was still strong about, oh, yeah, let's just go with the aptX, it's easy enough, and people can't hear the difference these days, especially if you have the aptX module in the Helix. However, when you drop the bomb that you have an iPhone, then I'm like, okay, no argument. Unfortunately, Apple doesn't have aptX, so the Bluetooth streaming is not lossless. So this way we have, is it the SMSL?
I think so. I think that's what
That's what it's
SMSL
called.
Pro or something.
SMSL DAC, which is a passive box.
So actually, it's not DAC, Peter. It's a digital converter. It takes the digital from the iPhone and puts it in the
Doesn't it have
coax.
analog output as well?
No.
This one doesn't?
Just digital, yeah.
Okay.
Just digital.
All right. That's why it can run passively, because this doesn't need any power.
No, it takes it from the iPhone.
Yeah. So from the USB we get digital through this, and then we can have optical or coax. We took the coax side all the way to the DSP, And then now this way we have lossless from the iPhone. And what I didn't know, which is amazing, you figured it out, you can link it to CarPlay and they work in harmony, so you can change the tracks from here as well. Yep, it changes the track. And yeah, you can't control the volume though, because now we are digital. So we have a conductor fitted for that in a spare trim panel, and then we can control volume, bass level, rear field level. We can control everything from there. We also fitted a STEG 3-inch wideband at the back. It's nothing really to talk a lot about. It doesn't have to be anything special for differential rear field, but it gives more ambience, gives more room space and things to play with. You can play with it, you can control the level if you want it, if you don't want it. I like it, many people like it. There are a few songs, I show you a few songs where it makes such a huge difference that you just can't believe it. Over the weekend we had a competition, and even to some people in the trade I showed my S-Class with differential rear field where I can control it easily, turn it up and down, and I didn't want to believe it. Like when you have a live recording.
I heard it in your car.
Yeah, live recording with big audience recorded in the background. With differential rear field, you feel like you are there in the crowd. Without that, it just goes to the front and you're just listening to a left and right reproduction, and that's it. You can tell it's not that realistic anymore, because you don't get the ambience and the room information you would get if you were there in that large space. So yeah, left and right is beautiful for competition, or if somebody's chasing the perfection of stereo playback. But I always say that I'm getting more and more bored with just stereo, because that's the biggest problem of recording these days. They try to capture everything in stereo, but when you are in a space, it's not stereo. It's 360, exactly. That's where maybe Atmos is going to be a beautiful thing. And now, I haven't even mentioned, Emma introduced multimedia Atmos competition category that currently nobody knows what to do with, because it's 7.1.4. Is there any device in car audio or anything that can decode it? It's gonna be fun. And also to build a car for that with 4 ceiling speakers and surround all around, that's gonna be something. But maybe in a few years. Yeah, but Tidal plays now, Atmos. But of course, when you play it from your phone, it says that the device is not capable of playing back, you know. So what's capable? Maybe it's also a question to Tidal. In home audio, there are devices, but
Apple Music does do Atmos. I don't know if it does it on the phone or not. I've disabled it.
It would give you the message that it's not capable to play it. The device is not capable. So in home audio, probably if you run digital, it can play it, and you have, you know, a home amplifier that can decode it with enough outputs. But in a car, that's going to be interesting. Who's going to work it out? So yes, we have changed a lot. You have not heard the car yet, so people can only rely on my feedback, or if I record 2-3 songs, what it plays like. But finally, this system sounds proper high-end to me. Bushan, the BMW 6 GT owner, heard it this morning before you too, and he said that this is one of the finest he has heard from us. Yes, we have mid-bass in the door. That's something many people know I'm not happy with. It is what it is. It's one of those things. We are stuck to it. So that part is not high-end. It's not up to my standards. But when it comes to mid-range and high-frequency tone or character, at least, that's something special. Yes, we could still find better location for the mid-range in the car, but not without major customization, which we don't want.
Yeah, we talked about that in the dash.
Yeah, it wouldn't blend in. Yes, we could gain something, but we would lose integration and cosmetics. So one thing that was tricky to find material for the A-pillar, which runs all the way back.
It's very nice.
And fortunately, we now have big sample book, and we found a true leather. So we had to order half a cow to get that material for these pillars, and we only used probably a fraction of it, but it blends in and it looks so good. Yeah, they did the fabrication and the trimming, and yeah, with this way, if we have this floating mounting for the tweeter, bought it in behind the tweeter, this way, yeah, it's manageable and it flows nicely. To me, I don't know, maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but yeah, I like it. Yeah, I would have this even in my car if I wasn't chasing OEM category competition and whatnot. I would rather put these tweeters in and I would have a way better result. They just sound definitely something special, especially with this hardware, with old school amplifiers. It doesn't have to be old school. There are amplifiers even these days which sound great. And people can find old school amplifiers which will sound still good, just like these. Or I had the Phoenix Gold MS
250s, something like that.
MS50, or what was it? M50.
Oh,
It was M50. I had the M50, potentially M25, and few of those in a Kia. We built many years ago, and those sounded amazing as well. You could tell that there was just something special in that system with those amps. So you can find old amplifiers that sound good, but then of course you have to deal with reliability, things like that. Hopefully you won't have any problem with these, but
Well, we're sending the other pair off for reconditioning, so
yeah.
I'll come back and fit those when they come back.
So yeah, some of you who come to the regular Brighton meetings, you might be able to see this car and hear it sometimes, because sometimes you pop down.
Yeah, it's a good day.
It's
There's
always
plenty of people.
it's
Good
always
pizza.
good pizza. We always go there. I have another nice place. Sometimes I have to take people to the other place as well. What it's going to sound like on the road, that's a different question.
Yeah, different question.
But that's always the nature of a sport car, although yours is not that loud.
No,
Does it have modified exhaust or anything?
No.
It's standard.
no, standard. I quite like it.
And you put a lot of soundproofing at the back. We saw it now when we had to take things apart to sort out a few more things. So hopefully it's going to be good fun on the road too. So guys, there you go, a little walk around for those who like to do something on their own, or if you're a shop owner and if you also need a bit of inspiration. Also, I have to mention it like always, because sometimes I forget it. We have our Patreon channel. You can find the link in description where we have weekly topics, daily updates. You can even see daily updates, how things happened in this one. Or we have fabrication videos where usually when Eddie has time, he shoots proper step-by-step guide. Like I think he has a video of these A-pillars, how he built them, like a half an hour long video. And in that one, the guys can truly see every single step, all the challenges, all the tricks and tips. So if you want to learn, yeah, there's a lot that you can learn. We have front sub videos, mid base enclosure videos, how to build all those things on Patreon. So that place is crazy. Now it's coming up to 4 years. The amount of stuff we have shared there, it's insane. And then yes, people can say, Pete, why didn't you share it on YouTube? I have shared a lot on YouTube, and what did I get out of that?
Yeah, no, I learned a lot from you.
Yeah. Everybody can learn a lot, but that's just so much more time what we share on Patreon as well. Some of those fabrication videos that now Eddie adds extra time to, and you can also find a separate link for his Patreon where you can only see just those videos for a bit less than on my channel. But on my channel, people see the full project. They see the daily updates, they see the RT evaluations, they see the whole project. They can see, they get way much more. You get the full circle pretty much. And I don't know any other place where they would share so much. I would love to follow others where I can also find inspiration from and I can learn.
Yeah.
I have few friends who are amazing fabricators and they don't share anything, and I've been kicking them. I'm like, guys, start your own channel. I'm going to help. People want to follow it, want to watch and learn from. I would want to do that.
Yeah.
But internet is one of those things these days that all generation people just want to stay away from it.
Yeah.
It's not their word, but hey ho, here we are. Okay, I'm going to cut it here. Hopefully you liked it. Check out description as I mentioned. Probably at the end of the video you will have links for probably the previous video of this, and then playlists, because we may have a short demo of it. You can hear a few songs for just inspiration. Please don't take it as a reference, right? Because it's always just a phone recording. And we will see you in the next one. Take care.